and Senior Fellow at the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security. He joins us live from Tel Aviv. Thank you very much, Dr. Navon, for joining us here on NewsX World. Of course, diplomatic efforts continue to reach the second phase of the ceasefire, or at least to get some agreement in how to move forward. Of course, we've seen multiple reported violations by both sides. This singular report of a Palestinian man being killed nears now the 400th person reportedly dead in the Palestinian territory after the ceasefire. What is your hope for the second phase? And do you think it's realistic that we move on to it within the next month, per se?
Well, my hope, first of all, is that Hamas releases the last dead Israeli hostage still held by the terrorist organization in violation of the ceasefire agreement. Only when the last and final hostage, in that case, unfortunately, dead hostage, is sent back to Israel, will be able really to move to the next phase as Hamas committed. As for what you described as the violation of the ceasefire, they are indeed being violated by Hamas with those attempts to cross the demarcation line, the yellow line between the Hamas-controlled area and those controlled by Israel in the Gaza Strip. And therefore, we first have to make sure that Israel's last hostage is being released by Hamas, and that Hamas stop trying to violate the ceasefire by sending its forces beyond the yellow line. Only then will it be possible to really move to the next stage, as spelled out by the peace plan of President Trump.
Yes, Dr. Navon, of course, Ran Gavili, the last body of the hostage, remains in the Gaza Strip. However, 400 or near to 400 people have been reportedly killed in the enclave post October the 10th. Do strikes warrant and the killing of Palestinians inside the Gaza Strip post the ceasefire? Do they warrant the strikes by Israel?
Well, first of all, the figures you're quoting are not verified. Many of them, I believe, are coming from Hamas. So the figure itself needs to be double-checked and verified. But assuming that there is a significant number of victims in those strikes, you have to understand that those strikes are perfectly legitimate and legal. They are directed at Hamas terrorists. Among the victims, it's not clear from what you're saying which ones are terrorists and which ones are civilians. We know since the very beginning of the war that Hamas has been manipulating data, lying to the international media, inflating the number of victims, and trying to blur the line between active terrorists and civilians. As for the Israeli army, it is only targeting military targets and violation of the ceasefire by Hamas in the Gaza Strip. As for the number of victims and who they are, this has to be double-checked and verified.
And Dr. Navon, of course, another update today. Strong statement from Turkey's Foreign Minister, Hakan Fidan, who has publicly warned that repeated Israeli ceasefire violations are creating major risks for moving into this second phase of the peace agreement. Turkey, of course, have been pitched to be a member of this international stabilization force. What's Israel's perspective on who would be the best members for that and who is going to govern the Gaza Strip temporarily in the future stage?
Well, certainly not Turkey, which is currently ruled by an Islamic neo-theocracy. Turkey is an active supporter of Hamas and of the Muslim Brothers, and therefore cannot be a trusted partner in rebuilding the Gaza Strip. And of course, Turkey, being an occupying power in northern Cyprus and in northern Syria, cannot be a credible partner to reestablish order and international law in the Middle East.
Dr. Emmanuel Navon, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure to talk to you